Eyewitness News, a presentation of Newscenter 39.
Senator Henry Scoop Jackson died tonight. The 71-year-old former presidential candidate suffered a heart attack at his home in Everett, Washington. A family friend says Jackson's heart stopped beating. Paramedics revived him and took him to the hospital where he died. Senator Jackson was the Democrats' ranking member on the Armed Services Committee. The man they called Scoop tried twice to become his party's presidential nominee, but fell short each time. Scoop Jackson dead at the age of 71. The Soviet Union will still not admit tonight it shot down a Korean Airlines 747, but all the evidence still points to a Soviet MiG fighter and the disappearance of the jet and its 269 passengers. The U.S. government demanding an explanation.
The last recorded words from Korean Airlines Flight 007 came when it radioed Japan around 11:15 our time yesterday morning. The conversation was routine. 007 was about 2 hours away from landing in Seoul. But at 11:23, Japanese controllers heard this. The Soviets maintained MiG fighters were trying to direct the 747 to a landing strip and got no response from the Korean pilot. But according to U.S. intelligence, MiGs had been shadowing the big jet for 2.5 hours, talking to Soviet officials on the ground, but not to the 747. There is speculation that right after the conversation with Tokyo, the Korean plane's radio went dead or was jammed. Whichever is true, the airliner now knows there is danger. For scarcely 3 minutes later, according to U.S. listeners, the Soviet pilot reports he has fired a missile and hit his target. 4 minutes later, the MiG reports the 747 is falling toward the ocean. 8 more minutes, and the big plane carrying 269 people dives off Soviet radar screens into the Sea of Okhotsk. Soviet search parties will later say they have found traces of an airline crash near Sakhalin Island, while still not admitting a Soviet missile was the cause of those traces.
The plane carried about 25 American passengers, one of them Congressman Larry McDonald of Georgia, a hardline anti-communist. We'll have more on the victims a little bit later. Meanwhile, Korean Airlines says it will not alter the route of its next flight from the U.S. to Seoul. It leaves in about half an hour and will take the same course as Flight 007. Up the coast in Santa Barbara tonight, President Reagan is wrapping up his vacation 3 days early. He will head back to the White House tomorrow. Sarah?
Dennis, as the United States waits for an explanation from the Soviets, leaders here are already considering the options. What to do to show the Soviets that the other major world power is angered over the downing of a civilian airliner. Those options are our top story tonight. Kathy Clark is in the News Center now with a report. Kath.
Sarah, the military options, of course, are not being discussed out loud by anyone in our government tonight. The Defense Department says it has no orders to put any armed services on alert. But as the shock of the attack sets in, most politicians are demanding instead economic and political sanctions.
Moral outrage is not an adequate response.
Senator Pete Wilson is one of dozens of legislators who think whatever sanctions are taken should be imposed swiftly but carefully. Americans are quick to remember the millions of tons of grain imported to the Soviet Union every year. Stopping those shipments is one option, but it may have trouble gaining legislative support.
If you're going to do that, make sure that these things work. If, for example, we are going to deny them something only to see the French provide it, then frankly we're not doing very much. And what I think is required is a very pragmatic analysis of what can be done. I think cutting off grain sales, frankly, simply hurts American farmers.
Another option, to curtail the flow of American business into the Soviet Union. Technology valued at millions of dollars is a major U.S. import to the Soviet industries. According to Congressman Duncan Hunter, recent attempts in Congress to allow even more such trade could be dead in the water in retaliation for the attack on the Korean airliner. But so far, other American attempts at economic sanctions against the Soviet Union have not fazed nor softened the Soviets, including sanctions taken after the invasion of Afghanistan. Soviet planes still cannot land in the U.S., and the U.S. could not sell materials for the Soviet oil pipeline. But other nations did. For any sanctions to work, say most of our legislators, it will take sanctions imposed by many nations at the same time.
So if we're going to bring economic sanctions against the Soviet Union, we have to bring our trading partners along with us and make sure they do it also.
That comment was from Congressman Hunter when he appeared live on our 5 o'clock edition of News Center. Whatever the United States does decide to do, it is going to be negotiating with other nations as well before it does take any kind of action. Sarah?
But you can bet there's going to be some tough talk when the president meets with his advisors tomorrow. Thanks, Kath. When we come back tonight, more on the victims killed in that Korean airline tragedy.
And the young woman killed in last Friday's Escondido shootout is buried. Newscenter continues after this.
I'm Dr. Cervantes. High blood pressure can affect anyone. 18% of the Hispanic population has high blood pressure.
I'm Dr. Urobi. As doctors, we tell our patients to cut down on salt, watch your weight, exercise more, and take your medication. 20% of the Asian Pacific Islander population in America has high blood pressure.
Hello, I'm Dr. Joyner. Hypertension, better known as high blood pressure, if left untreated can cause heart attack, stroke, and kidney failure. 34% of the black population in America has high blood pressure.
I'm Dr. Jagger. High blood pressure can affect anyone: lawyers, housewives, farmers, executives, and even children. 24% of the white population has high blood pressure. A large percentage of all Americans suffer from high blood pressure.
Why risk heart attack,
stroke, or kidney failure?
Have your blood pressure checked and treated today.
High blood pressure. Treat it and live. Call the San Diego Hypertension Council.
Since time began, man has reached for the stars. From the Wright brothers at Kitty Hawk to Apollo 11's flight to the moon. Come in and see these and other examples of man's quest for the stars at the San Diego Aerospace Museum and International Aerospace Hall of Fame. 2001 Pan American Plaza, Balboa Park. Open daily, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m.
Are you a senior in need of medical billing assistance? Adult Protective Services has trained volunteers to assist you in filing Medicare claims. Call 283-5731.
The 200
were on board the plane, including 50 Americans, one of them a U.S. congressman. All are presumed dead. But despite all the evidence, the Soviets have still not admitted it was a Russian rocket that shot down the big jetliner. The Soviets issued a statement today, but it was contradicted by every other source and angrily denounced by officials from the president on down.
Be said about Soviet credibility when they so flagrantly lie about such a heinous act. What can be the scope of legitimate mutual discourse with a state whose values permit such atrocities? And what are we to make of a regime which establishes one set of standards for itself and another for the rest of humankind?
President Reagan cut short his California vacation so he and his staff could discuss possible responses. Arms reduction talks will probably not be cut off. The stakes are too high, according to administration officials. Trade embargoes are still a possibility, but also not likely because of how they would affect American farmers and businesses. Still, the U.S. is searching for some reaction. People across the country are fuming, not only at the senseless act, but also at the repeated denials. Today, TASS said the 747 could have been a spy plane. Its 269 passengers simply a cover for intelligence gathering. The Soviets say they fired warning shots and that the jumbo jet then left Soviet airspace. But the Japanese Defense Agency tells another story, having intercepted this communication. Soviet ground crews are asking their fighters, "Do you have the target sighted?" The fighter pilot says he has. The ground tells him to aim, and that is acknowledged. Ground control then gives the command to fire, and the pilot reports he has done so. As reported by U.S. intelligence, it takes 12 long minutes, but the 747 falls in flames into the Sea of Okhotsk. Despite the reports of an oil slick and bodies recovered in the area, the Soviets continue to deny, prompting an angry response from Secretary of State Shultz.
No cover-up, however brazen and elaborate, can change this reality or absolve the Soviet Union of its responsibility to explain its behavior. The world is waiting for the Soviet Union to tell the truth.
In another development tonight, the Washington Post is quoting other U.S. sources. They say the Soviet fighter pilot may not have realized the Korean jet was a commercial airliner. As you saw in the conversation monitored by the Japanese, the Soviet plane refers to the 747 only as a target. But at this point, that report is nothing but speculation.
Dennis, one San Diegan who had some insight today into the actions of the Soviet fighter planes is Shandar Zaboki. Zaboki is a former Hungarian fighter pilot who defected from that country in 1970, flying a MiG-15. Zaboki was visibly shaken when he first heard about the Soviet attack today from Newscenter's Hal Gray. The former fighter pilot suggested that orders to shoot down the civilian plane probably came from high up in the Kremlin.
Let's say if it was a spy plane, okay, to shut him down, he had to get, because it was not dropping bombs, okay, he would have to get the instruction from Moscow to shut him down. Well, anyway, in Hungary, that's the way it is. We would have it directly from the defense minister itself.
Zaboki originally gained notoriety in this country by pressuring the communists to release his son. That effort was successful. Zaboki's son now lives with him here in San Diego. The American Korean community organized protests against Soviet embassies in 2 major cities today. In Los Angeles, more than 300 Koreans demonstrated in front of the Federal Building. They carried signs denouncing the Russians and chanted in Korean. And in New York today, Korean Americans gathered at the United Nations. Some 2,000 people then marched on the Soviet mission, breaking through police barriers. Organizers say the Koreans wanted to show their anger at the savage act that killed 269 innocent people.
Right after News Center tonight, NBC News will have a special report on the United Nations Security Council debate on the downed Korean jet. The Johnny Carson and David Letterman shows will follow.
But still to come on our news tonight, the latest on a new drug that offers a lot of promise to transplant patients.
And to look at why a lot of folks were thinking snow in September today at the sports arena. Stay with us.
Look who's playing center field! Who's wearing center field?
And we're out of bleach.
Try mine, Joe.
That's not my bleach.
Trust me.
Joan is trying Biz Bleach. With energized cleaners, even liquid bleaches don't have. So Biz cleans muddy dirt better.
I can't believe these are the old red and whites. What was that bleach?
Biz Bleach.
Well, I'm impressed.
So am I.
Discover Biz Bleach for a cleaner, whiter wash.
Labor Day weekend is a great time to do last-minute shopping for school clothes, and you'll find some terrific values at Mervyn's 3-day sale. Cirque shirts for juniors are just $9.99. They're all 100% cotton and one of the most popular shirts around. And sweater vests for juniors are a great buy at only $12.99. It's the perfect time to get the things you still need and save money, too, during the big 3-day sale, now through Monday at Mervyn's.
If you've been seeing a lot more of the new Mercury Cougar on the road, there's a very good reason for it. People are buying them. The fact is, sales are already up more than 300% in the past 4 months.
Nice car.
Cougar from Mercury. Success does have a way of breeding success.
Save up to 40% store-wide on San Diego's largest selection of contemporary home furnishings during the Lawrence Summer Sale in progress now. Lawrence, San Diego, and Encinitas.
Under the sun, under the moon, there's no place on earth like the San Diego Wild Animal Park. Experience birds of prey diving from the sky and a jay that might land on your head. Wildlife in a tropical rainforest. Herds of rare gazelle and deer. Dinner in Nairobi Village. And a nighttime journey across Africa and Asia. Discover the San Diego Wild Animal Park. There's no place like it on Earth.
The Righteous Brothers Labor Day weekend.
The Food and Drug Administration tonight has tentatively approved a drug that has dramatically reduced rejection of transplant organs. The drug is called cyclosporin, and for the past few years it's been used experimentally on kidney, heart, and liver patients. The new transplant center at Sharp Hospital in San Diego is one of the few places in the nation which already has full approval to use cyclosporin. Meantime, in Memphis, there is word tonight that liver patient Carmen San Nicolas sat up in bed today for the first time. The young woman, as you know, received her new liver Tuesday night after a long wait. Hospital officials hope that Carmen will be out of intensive care in about 10 days. Dennis.
Local officials don't think Mission Bay has been contaminated by toxic chemicals, but they want to make sure. A company has been hired to test the area, water and land, after the city learned of a nearby toxic waste dump. Today, magnetic readings were taken, and next month, crews will begin drilling for soil samples. Officials took those magnetic readings because they don't want to end up drilling into any barrels containing old toxic waste. Good news tonight for holiday beachgoers. The county health department has now reopened most of Imperial Beach. For the last 4 weeks, that beach has been closed because of contamination from Mexican sewage that brought havoc to Imperial Beach's tourist industry. But now, after 5 days of acceptable water samples, most of the beach is reopened. Only a small area at the mouth of the Tijuana River is still closed.
However, if you would rather hit the slopes than the beach, you're probably already looking forward to the ski season. And there's a big sale on ski supplies at the sports arena this weekend. Whitney Southwick was there among the other bargain hunters today.
It is dreams of doing this that has driven thousands of San Diegans to doing this weekend at the sports arena. It is the largest ski show and sale in town. More than 11,000 pairs of skis and boots up for grabs. Oh, and of course, there's also the latest in pants, parkas, and hats.
I have next year's powder shell here. It's at $39.99. And a new pair of stretch pants these are regularly $100 for $59.99.
You look like you're afraid you're going to spend a lot of money today.
No, I was here last night and did. We're back for a second shot.
I bought a pair of skis and bindings last night.
Needed a coat, and we've got some good pants here on sale also.
I wish there was some snow to try, though.
This particular boot is well suited to that problem.
How much? Good thing for plastic money. Never could pass up a bargain. From the sports arena, Whitney Southwick, Newscenter 39.
If you're not in the mood for snow, Bob Dale says there may be good reason to head for the surf this weekend. It's gonna be hot. He's up next.
Surfers are about as serious as skiers are when it comes to that stuff. And the space shuttle astronauts are up and about, having passed the halfway mark of their 2-million-mile voyage around Earth. We'll have more on the mission in a minute.
As our winery grew, my seeing the grape growers, the distributors, the retailers, the restaurateurs became impossible. I found that if I periodically picked up the phone and called, I could keep that human touch alive. I believe that if I take the time to show that I care, that it's good for our business, it's good for their business, that's why I call.
The most successful business calls are personal.
Greyhound racing at Caliente. Every night except Tuesday at 7:45. Caliente. Next to the Tijuana Country Club.
Builds homes for everyone. So if you're looking for a larger home, come see Barrett. For a smaller home, come see Barrett. For your first home, come see Barrett. With prices from $50,000 to almost $300,000 and unique purchase plans, Barrett will ease you into the home you want. For locations in California, call 1-800-BARRETT. We make home buying easy.
In the news tonight, our
You'll be surprised at what you see on Southwestern Cable TV.
The amount of money you have to invest has little to do with the questions you wish to ask. And the more serious you are as an investor, the more questions you have to ask.
which is why it's critical you have someone you can talk with. As respected advisors to the serious investor, we at Shearson American Express recommend you invest your time before you invest your money. Shearson American Express and the serious investor. Minds over money.
While most of us are getting ready to turn in for the night, it's already morning for the 5 astronauts on board the space shuttle. Earlier today, the men went about their scientific experiments with their fellow passengers, 6 white astro rats, who are helping in tests about the effects of weightlessness. Quipped one astronaut, the first day they were asking for their money back on their tickets, but now they've settled down, or up. The flight has gone very much according to plan so far, so much so that NASA officials are planning a ground-to-space news conference for early tomorrow morning to liven things up.
I think they're going to have one powerful case of jet lag when they come on down.
That would be powerful.
Wouldn't that be fun, though? Boy, I'd love to try it.
Yeah. Well, someday, Bob, we'll all get to do it.
Oh, gee, do you think I'm too young?
Yeah.
That'd be more fun than flying a J3 Cub, wouldn't it? Huh? Now, listen, friends, things are getting a little bit better, but it's slow now. We had a whole month of tropical moisture to settle over top of us, so it's starting to cool down just a little bit, humidity getting a little bit more bearable, and the temperatures should not change too much from what they were today, so we're looking good for the weekend. You see, it's right now at 73 at Lindbergh Field, and we only got down to a 72 last night at Lindbergh. The high today was 85. It's a little better than the 88 we had yesterday. The records were set in 55. That was Santa Ana time. We have yet to have one this year. That'll be coming up sometime this month, I'll bet. And the 56 was in 1869. Skies clear, visibility 7. Winds on the surface are out of the west now, just oozing along at 5, and humidity is 83%. And barometer is rising a little bit, 29.83, still pretty low. Water temperature 68 and surf 3 to 4 feet. Now, the best news in the world is right here over Colorado. The fact that you do not have that square H, that upper level high that has been giving us sultry Florida-type weather. This low is a thermal low caused by, well, 114 at Gila Bend. And that is the air rises so rapidly that everything has to come from this direction to flow underneath it. Plus, you're getting a high over the eastern Pacific, so we're going to get a westerly drier flow to make it more comfortable and keep everything away from us. Now, I'm watching carefully Hurricane Kiko. It is now around the Manzanillo area about now. It is moving northwest. See, that's the thing you don't want. And it's strong, 150-mile-an-hour winds. So right now, nothing to worry about. But we'll know more on Monday about what it's going to do. So just enjoy the weekend for now. But we're watching it. Now, this cold front coming down. Look, you have up here at Edmonton is 67, Winnipeg 102. Now that's a big drop in temperature, so that's a big cold front. They have big storm flags out now for severe storms in eastern Dakotas, up into northwestern Minnesota, and you're going to have heavy thunderstorms tomorrow as the leading edge of this colder air starts to blast into all of this heat. Hope they get rain in the Midwest or the Central Plains, but don't have to pay too big a price for it. I mean, down here at Naples, Florida, they got 4.5 inches of rain this afternoon, and severe watch, as I told you, was out. Pierce, South Dakota, had 108 today. Now, that is hot. Records all over the place, from Minnesota down into Galveston. Now, let's see. Here is the remains of Juliet, and here is the hurricane right here. Now, it's moved up just a little bit. It's moving about 10 miles an hour to the northwest, so again, don't worry about it. We'll just watch it. As far as our local temperatures are concerned, pretty nice on the coast coming, well, Oceanside was 79 anyway, but warm yet, and just a few puffer bellies over the mountains tomorrow afternoon, and that's about it. So have a nice weekend. Temperatures are not going to change too much. It'll be mostly fair, all areas, but do start to look for the chance of coastal clouds starting with fog. Maybe tomorrow morning, maybe Sunday morning for sure, as we get that onshore flow from the cooler ocean. And there's your temperature range for tomorrow, and sure would love to get those nighttime temperatures down on the coast a little bit and in the deserts.
Yeah.
But nice.
But nice, yeah.
Have a good weekend.
Yes.
Other news tonight, the Navy has censured 4 officers for a very embarrassing accident. The nuclear carrier Enterprise was grounded on a sandbar last April as it headed for a homecoming celebration in San Francisco Bay. The Navy has censured the former skipper and 3 other Enterprise officers. A spokesman for Pac Fleet at North Island says it was human error. In El Salvador tonight, a colleague of a murdered San Diego Navy man is wondering aloud about the suspect in the case. A Navy officer is quoted as saying the man arrested yesterday may not have murdered Lieutenant Commander Albert Schoeffelberger. The officer says the man in custody has some of his facts wrong about that case. The accused murderer of a San Diego police officer wants to stand trial in another city. So a change of venue hearing began today for 17-year-old Charles Tyberg. He's accused of dressing up like a sheriff's deputy and gunning down Officer Kirk Johnson. No decision today. The hearing continues a week from Monday.
Tonight's editorial is about the police shootout in Escondido that left a robbery suspect and a hostage dead. Here is General Manager Bill Fox.
The shooting death of a 21-year-old woman hostage in Escondido is one of the most tragic incidents of its kind in recent memory. Officials revealed that Leslie Landersman died from shotgun pellets fired by Escondido police. She was killed at the end of a shootout and chase involving a bank robbery suspect. The suspect was also killed. Many questions remain to be answered, but judgment must be withheld until the full investigation is completed. It is the community's responsibility to keep its head and allow the police to proceed without interference. It is the Escondido Police Department's responsibility to conduct a timely inquiry and keep that inquiry completely open to the Landersman family and the public. 39 Alive calls on the Escondido community to maintain a calm search for the facts in this tragedy. I'm Bill Fox, and we welcome your views.
Well, this road trip will be one the Padres long remember. Not fondly, however. Al Keck next with sports.
And still coming tonight, the Righteous Brothers. Stay with us.
Wow, I don't believe you can sell an Isuzu truck this low.
Well, we said we'd be lowering prices.
But I don't believe you can sell an Isuzu truck this low.
Oh, we said we had factory incentives.
But I don't believe you can sell an Isuzu truck this low.
I think we should have believed it.
Believe it. Right now, San Diego County Isuzu dealers are selling trucks that low.
Winchell's while you work.
Winchell's while you play.
Winchell's while you work and while you play.
The best time to enjoy Winchell's is all the time. And whether you like chocolate or glazed, cake or raised, plain or fancy donuts, we've got them all. In fact, we have a whole family of great-tasting donuts. So come to Winchell's, where great taste runs in the family.
Winchell's while you work. Winchell's while you play. Winchell's while you work and while you play. Winchell's.
It's here. New Maximum Bayer Aspirin. One dose is 1,000 milligrams strong.
It's a 1,000 milligram dose of pure Bayer aspirin.
No caffeine like in some pain relievers.
Bayer is specially coated to be well tolerated, easy to swallow.
No extra strength pain reliever gives me all that.
New Maximum Bayer. A 1,000 milligram dose of pure pain reliever.
Now there's both Maximum Bayer and Genuine Bayer from the most trusted name in aspirin.
What's new for dinner at Carl's Jr.? Charbroiler dinners, rainbow trout and lemon butter, or a juicy ground beef steak.
Carl's Jr. Enjoy the difference.
Boy, I tell you, this road trip, what is it now? 6 out of 9 or 7 out of 9?
That's right, 7 out of 9
that they've lost.
Crazy.
Good boy.
I was going to say that only in the Big Apple could a guy named Strawberry kill you, but the Mets' Darryl Strawberry has made it easy pickings off the Padres all season. It's Friday night, gang. I got to get some of these. A couple of weeks ago, he owned the Padres at the stadium, but tonight kept it going in New York. 3 hits, including a 3-run homer and a triple, the key is 7-3 Met victory. But the Padres had their moments. Watch Juan Bonilla here at second base. He robs Bob Baylor of a certain base hit. Beautiful play. Terry Kennedy brought the Padres back to life in the 6th. A drive deep to right field, way back for a 2-run homer, number 11 on the season for TK. But enter that man called Strawberry. Only a rookie, but what a rookie. This 3-run homer. He has hit 22 home runs this season. Dick Williams says it seems like every one has been against the Padres. The Mets take a 7-3 victory. The Padres are 13 games back. Same two go tomorrow afternoon, 4:30, right here on 39. Here are the numbers. Excuse me. The Mets over the Padres. The Dodgers beat Montreal. They now lead Atlanta by 2.5 games in the West. Eastern leaning Pittsburgh beat the Braves. Houston is only 6 games off the pace. Philadelphia beat the Giants on Ozzie Virgil's grand slam in the 9th inning, and the Reds shut out St. Louis. American League now. Eastern-leaning Baltimore wins. The Tigers split with Toronto. Blue Jays win that second game 8-7. The Angels over Milwaukee 6-5. Yankees 5, Seattle 4. The Red Sox surprise Western-leading Chicago. Oakland loses to Cleveland 4-2, and Texas over Kansas City 7-0. San Diego's Dennis Conner and Liberty will be the 25th defender of the America's Cup. The New York Yacht Club made this selection today. Conner led Liberty to more wins than any other American boat in the trials, but now Liberty must prepare for the foreign challenge, probably with Australia too. And the pressure will be on Liberty. You see, the United States has held the Cup for 132 years. That's what you call pressure. Now, the Chargers and Jets will be able to tell you about pressure on Sunday. They open their NFL season. But everyone says it could be the preview of the AFC title game. You can look for plenty of passing, even though both teams have some injuries at receiver. Here's more from Al Janis.
Air Coryell may be flying a little lower to the ground than usual this Sunday. All-Pro wide receiver Wes Chandler will be a question mark right up until kickoff. So Dan Fouts may have to go to a couple of new faces, like former Baltimore star Roger Carr, picked up last week in a trade, and Bobby Duckworth, a second-year man out of Arkansas. Now, last week, number 82 went a long way towards convincing the coaches he can get the job done, with 5 catches in the final exhibition for 96 yards. And they were key catches. Up until then, Bobby was getting a reputation for making the tough catches, but dropping some easy ones.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you go to the middle and you see out of the corner, you see the middle of the field, and you want the ball to hurry up and get there. And once it does start in your direction, you're thinking turn up field, when you just need to really secure it, because the first down is a lot more important, I guess, than scoring.
And now it's time for the Charger offense to get going. Now that the games are for real, we'll see a lot more diversity in the San Diego attack.
Oh, yeah. With the offense that we got, this preseason has been so limited. It doesn't even look like the Charger offense. But when we come for that Jet game, it'll look like the old Air Coryell show.
Flight number 1 leaves the gate Sunday at 1. From the stadium, Al Janis, Newscenter 39.
And you can see it right here on 39.
I can't wait.
No,
Thanks,
great.
Al.
Thanks. Blue-eyed soul bellowed out tonight at the Wild Animal Park in Escondido. The legendary Righteous Brothers performed to the largest ever Friday night concert crowd at the park's outdoor amphitheater. Nightside reporter Jack Gates was there.
The Righteous Brothers in 1983 sound just as good as when the duo started singing together 21 years ago in Orange County. Recognizing the compatibility of Bill Medley's rich baritone and Bobby Hatfield's clear tenor voice, the two tried singing together one night in 1962, and a string of hits followed like You've Lost That Lovin' Feeling and Unchained Melody. The Righteous Brothers, after splitting up in 1968, rejoined last year for a 20th anniversary tour, and crowds, mostly in their 30s and 40s, pack in to hear the familiar old classics.
They can't really relate to the punk stuff and so on, and so they go out and hear our old songs, and we're happy to do them for them.
The crowds have been great. They're having a good time, and we've always said as long as they're still digging it, we'll probably go out there and do it.
A record crowd of 11,600 people watched, listened, and enjoyed the Righteous Brothers tonight. Last year's anniversary tour was so successful, the singers say the concerts continued in 1983 and will continue even in 1984. Just as audiences 20 years ago convinced the Righteous Brothers they should be together, the audiences of today are again sending that same message to the legendary duo. From the Wild Animal Park near Escondido, Jack Gates, Newscenter 39.
Yeah, the pipes are still there. Finally tonight, a new addition to our Newscenter team. Reporter Dave Owen and his wife Cindy are the proud parents of a new baby boy, Michael David. He was born this afternoon and weighed in at 7 pounds, 3 ounces. Mom, Dad, and baby are all just fine tonight. And no doubt watching right now to see Michael's TV debut, but we don't have it. What happened to the tape? We were going to see David in his little hat and the kid.
Anyway.
Well, Dave, come on back to work. We'll show it to you. That's it. Thanks for being with us, and have a good weekend.
Good night.
Here's the first
first frozen pancake batter good enough for Aunt Jemima.
Aunt Jemima frozen pancake batter. For Aunt Jemima's it tastes just great. No measuring, no mixing, just real easy fixing. 3 minutes from package to plate.
Aunt Jemima frozen pancake batter. The first frozen pancake batter good enough for Aunt Jemima.
Tell a friend, come and save. Tell a friend, come and shop. Tell a friend, this is where the savings don't stop.
With Alpha Beta's Econo Pack meat sale, the bigger the pack, the more you save. Like boneless top sirloin steaks, 3 or more, $2.27 a pound. Like country-style pork spare ribs, 4 pounds or more, $1.39 a pound. Like boneless London broil steaks, 3 or more, $1.87 a pound. Big sale, big savings on Econo Packs.
Alpha Beta.
Tell a friend.
When you barbecue something this expensive, don't take a chance on ruining the taste. Use Wizard Charcoal Lighter, and you'll taste the food, not the fuel. Wizard Charcoal Lighter starts quickly and burns off clean in minutes. So Wizard won't ruin your meat with an unpleasant taste. All you get is the natural charcoal broil flavor. So don't take a chance on ruining a great piece of meat. Get Wizard, because with Wizard, you'll taste the food, not the fuel.
What does it take to excel?
You have my word. You'll get it tomorrow.
It takes reliability, speed, economy. It takes express mail next day service from the post office. Our 2-pound pack is just $9.35. Most others charge about twice that. We deliver over 90,000 packages on time every day.
You're a man of your word. I just got it.
Express mail service. We deliver excellence for less.
The Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson and